Okay, so just open it up. This essay is one of the reasons why you have a character chart you're supposed to be working on, because you'll be able to use the character chart to write the essay. Okay, and it just says TKAM expository essay. That's what I need you to open. And I'm going to introduce it to you. Now, it's not going to be due for a few weeks because we need to finish the novel. We're getting in that last stretch of it. Okay, we're ready for chapter 23. It ends with chapter 31, and some of these last chapters are shorter than the others have been. There's still a couple of them that are longer, but 3 or 4 or 5 of them are really short chapters. So we're going to be finishing the novel sometime next week. Okay. So I want you to be thinking about this essay and understanding why you need to be working on this character chart. What we're going to be writing is a literary essay. It's also sometimes called a literary analysis. You're going to be looking at a particular character and writing about that character and how that character changes throughout the novel. Okay? So open up that. So it's an expository literary essay. You're going to write a well-organized composition or essay on the topic below. It says, in literature, a character's society, culture, or immediate environment may undergo a significant change of some sort. This change and the character's response to it can be vital to the central idea of the work. Think about To Kill a Mockingbird. One of the big things that changes is this trial of Tom Robinson and how Jem views the world, how Scout views the world. We also have Scout growing and changing. She's growing up. These experiences that she has change who she is as she matures and grows. Okay? There are other characters. I mean, those are the 2 biggest ones as far as changes and so forth and how they become. But what I want you to do for this book, it says, from the novel To Kill a Mockingbird, select a character that has undergone a significant change. Okay? Using specific references from the work, explain the nature of this change and its impact on the character. With Scout, it could also be, and Jem, it could be some things that are about to happen in the novel and the whole effect of Boo Radley. Okay? Explain how the character's response to this change relates to a major theme of the work. So we're going to have to pick out themes. It's also why I had you do a theme lesson. There was a method to all these things that I want you to do with the novel. Okay? You were looking at themes earlier in the theme lesson. I've been asking you to fill out this character chart as we go along so that you have some material already. You don't have to go digging back through the book. If you've been doing this work, then you have some ideas in your mind. It makes this easier to do, okay? So, as you write, you're going to remember to focus on a character that has undergone a significant change. You're going to give specific examples, reasons, and details from the work to explain the nature of this change and its impact on the character. You're going to explain how the character's response to this change relates to a major theme of the work. And guys, we're going to talk about this more, and we'll talk about how you can put it together, writing an introduction for it, a conclusion for it. What you're going to do also is avoid giving just a summary of the plot. That is not an analysis. An analysis examines something in the novel. In this case, it's a theme with a character. The main part is the character itself, but you also want to tie in how it relates to the theme. Okay? Write in complete sentences. You're going to write a coherent, well-developed paragraphs with topic sentences. You're going to use correct grammar, spelling, punctuation, and capitalization. Now, this is only going to be 5 or 6 paragraphs long, probably. Okay? It's not going to be a big 5-page paper. It's probably only going to be, like I said, 5 to 6 paragraphs. but it needs to be developed well. And that's why we're starting it today, or at least introducing it today. So you can start thinking about, one, which character you're going to pick. I would recommend Scout or Gem. I mean, there are a few other characters you could take a look at, but those are the two that would probably be the easiest. And you also want to be thinking about the theme, okay, and how it relates to that specific character. All right, and how that character changes. So, will this be easy? No, but you need to be challenged to do these things. You need to be able to write like this. Your junior year, your senior year, you have to do a few more of these. So we want to know how to do this now, okay? So again, it's once we break it down, which character am I going to choose? Make a list of how does the character change? What things in the novel have affected that character? Okay. And then what are some specific examples I could use? And what kind of theme from the novel does this show? Okay. And there are lots of themes in the novel. We'll talk about some tomorrow. All right. Other than the 4 that were on your list. We'll review those too. But we'll talk about some other themes from this book that you could be thinking about and how they apply in here. Okay? I know this is just a quick little introduction to this. But don't be afraid of this. Don't be intimidated by it. You can do this. I'm going to help you along the way. Like I said, I've given you some things to do before that will help prepare for this, that can help you pick out, okay, I'm going to use Scout, or I'm going to use Gem, and here are things that happened to him. What's one thing, one event in the novel that happened to Gem that sort of changed who he was a little bit and helped him grow? What? Okay, that's the most recent one. There was an event earlier than that. Yeah, Gem realizing that the people in his community weren't as pure and wonderful as he thought they were. Okay, that's one big event. What's another one that happened even earlier? Do you remember? With Mrs. DeBose? Yes, and he had to read to her. And what did he learn about Mrs. DeBose, or learn from Mrs. DeBose? What did Atticus say that he learned from her? You remember? Strength, strong will. She was, one of the things that was going on with her is that she was sick and dying, but she wanted to be, she didn't want to be addicted to the laudanum that she was probably taking, or the morphine, whichever they were giving her. She wanted to wean herself off of that before she died. And that took strength and courage and endurance. And that's something that Gem learned from her, that whole experience from her. Okay? So there's a couple things for Gem. Scout, we're seeing a few things as she gets older, but a lot of hers are a couple of things that happened to Scout that helped with her change are coming up here. Okay? I mean, she sees some of it already. There are things that are happening, but she still doesn't quite understand them as well. And there are some things that happen to her yet, or around her yet, that we'll see. Okay? But those are the two characters I would recommend that you choose from. I mean, you could write one about Atticus, I suppose, or I don't know how much Dill actually, I mean, Dill changes a little bit, but his changes aren't as obvious. I don't know that Aunt Alexandra changes. Maybe a little bit. But the more obvious choices are Gem and Scout between those two. So that's what I would recommend. But be thinking about, whichever one you choose, be thinking about these different things that have happened to them, how they've grown, okay? One of them was Scout. She's learned to overcome not fighting all the time. mainly because she's been forced to not do it, but then she's been able to, you know, there's strength there in that she hasn't been getting into the fights because Atticus asked her not to. Okay, so that's something there. All right. Any questions? Okay. Like I said, this is something right now for you to be thinking about. All right. What we do need to do today, I'm not going to read to you today. We're going to take a little break from that. Two things. You need to be working on that character chart. And then I also have another vocabulary assignment for you. And then a third thing, if you are missing any work, today is a day that you can make some of that up. If you've got any missing work out, take a look at that. I ask you to do the vocabulary antonyms, work on the character chart, get caught up on that if you're behind on it. Okay? Sound good? All right. So it's kind of a little bit of a catch-up day. Yes. Fill out the hall pass, please. Yes. It's there at the top above. It should be at the top of your page. It says hall pass. Okay.